What's up, Mikey?
Yo, what's up?
It's good. It's good. How you doing?
Good, how you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Huh?
Well, go ahead and introduce yourself real quick.
Hi, my name is Michael Adams. I'm a junior and I wrestle at Monsignor Farrell High School.
Cool. Now, we just gotta get right into it, man. States. First off, how weird was it competing in a New York State tournament in...
It was weird because it was like, it wasn't even like a big stadium. It was more like they rolled out, it was like, I think they had 12 mats, which is like smaller than what we normally have. But, well, actually, I think it's quite bigger. But they ended up rolling out 12 mats in like Pennsylvania, and like not everybody was allowed to come. 12 mats, rolled it out, and just let us wrestle. And it was a lot tougher than the actual states because they combined D1 and D2. So it was quite an experience.
Yeah, and I was watching it live and all that stuff, but I watched like a bunch of matches, so I can't really remember much from it. But do you remember each match, like in chronological order at all?
Ooh, I remember my first match. I had to buy my first round, so I ended up not having a first round match. So I had to buy. Then I had a kid from D2, I think it was, because I never seen him in the Division 1 section. So I had a kid, I think, from D2, first round. Ended up pinning him in the second. No, in the first with a chalice, which is like the throw move. And then second round, I had a kid named Michael Gugliano. He's from D1. I wrestled him before last year at Eastern States. I beat him at Eastern States 12-3, I believe, and then I beat him 6-0 to the quarters to advance to the semis the next day. Then the semifinals, I had the 1 seed, and I ended up losing the 1 seed. And then I wrestled for the Kanzi semis. I lost a tight match there. I lost by like 4 points. It was a tight one only because I definitely could have had it in the third, but it was a tough one. And then I ended up wrestling that kid Gugliano again for 5th and 6th, and ended up majoring him there. So that was the tournament. I ended up going 3-2 for the tournament.
Cool stuff. And actually, I know one of the kids you wrestled. You wrestled a Section 6 kid because my college is up there. So I actually got to wrestle with him a little bit when he would come in our college room and stuff.
Yeah.
So, is that the kid that like you lost in the third period to?
I think so. If you tell me his name, I might remember him.
Gavin.
I think I ended up losing to him.
Yeah.
Good kid.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty tough section. Do you remember like where the guys were from that you wrestled? Like if they're from Section 11, Section 8 or something?
Yeah. The first kid that I wrestled was Section 5. Then the next kid was Section 11. It's Suffolk County, so I think that's Section
11.
Then the 1 seed, I forgot what section Ferreira's at.
He's 4.
What happened?
He's 4.
Yeah, Section 4. So Ferreira's 4, and then the kid that you wrestled at was Section 6, and then the Gugliano again was Section 11. So I wrestled a good amount of sections, but I was also happy that I was able to wrestle some D2 kids there too.
Yeah, because they get overlooked at times.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, because regular states, they don't do D2 and D1 together. So, like, I never actually get the chance to see how good you actually are. So I was happy I got to experience that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there are plenty of guys, like some returning state champs that barely placed. There were state finalists that couldn't even get past, like, 4th on the podium and things like that. So
yeah,
because...
Yeah, because like a lot of kids who made like the state finals last year ended up losing to some of the D2 kids. So it's crazy to see. So me placing definitely gave me a little boost of like confidence.
Yeah, heading into a
Yeah.
Now, when you wrestled Ferrari, did you how was your mindset going into that?
My mindset going into that was I was gonna beat him. Like I had it in my mind that I was gonna beat him. Like I had literally didn't think about anything else but, going to beat that kid. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but when, going into there, I was more prepared than, I ever was. One of the things that I ended up doing, which actually helped me out a lot, is, writing down what I'm going to do. So, because it's more of, a visual game, it's mental. So I wrote down, I'm going to beat him, I'm going to win the tournament, things like that. It's the mental aspect of wrestling. You have to win it in your head before you can actually, win the match. So me going into there, I felt a little bit more confident going in there. So I was definitely prepared for that match.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And everybody you wrestled, they were good. Everybody in your bracket that you got to wrestle, they were all good.
Yeah, they were all decent kids, because I know a lot of the kids in my bracket too, even outside of wrestling. I know some kids like Jacob. I know one of the kids from my section, Shane Minahan. They're good kids. So not even wrestling aside, they're really good kids. Their accolades are amazing. So
yeah. And yeah, you and Jacob both were on the podium together. That's right.
Yeah, it's good to see somebody like Jacob get up on there, because me and him wrestled together a while, since middle school. So to see him succeed as well is also, exciting.
Yeah, it was real cool. So, speaking of Jacob, go back to the Mayor's Cup Finals match.
Oh, yeah, that was a good match. So that was interesting too, because going into that match, I was very confident. I was in my mind, there was nothing that was gonna stop me from, winning that tournament for the second year in a row. So me going against Jacob, it's not we beef. It's just more of when we wrestle, it's more I don't care who you are. It's just I'm gonna beat you. That's just how it is. Because me and him still avoids after. So it was a great match. It was amazing. It was, to say the least. Because when I did that lift, I wasn't expecting to get it. It was when I lifted him and he went over. It was crazy. Because they were I heard the refs talking. They were thinking of stopping it. Because it was they thought I was choking him. So they were thinking of stopping it, but I'm happy they didn't. So.
Yeah, that could have made the match right there.
Yeah, because if they stopped it, that would have been bad. Because once I heard them start talking about it, I was easing up on the headlock finish. So it was a great match.
Yeah, I remember watching it live. But who'd you wrestle in the finals the first time we won it?
Sal Esposito.
Oh yeah. That's right. Sal.
Yeah. Good match. I also the thing is with Sal too. Sal was very long, so it was weird wrestling him. So I kept on taking a low single shot. So that was the position we were in for the whole 6 minutes. It was annoying, because it was every time I shot in on that shot, we would just get in the scrambling position. So if we didn't know how to wrestle there, and I wasn't that good from that position, but I just knew how to basically tie his arms up and just get a stall call.
You knew he didn't recognize the position, so that's all you knew.
Yeah. So once we both, it was kind of we're both on the same playing field, because we both didn't really know what to do from there, and it was just more of who could get to the points first. So yeah, he ended up scoring the first points of that too. He ended up none of us scored in the first. He got out in the second. I took him down in the second, and then he let me up in the third, and that was it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was. Yeah, both those matches were crazy. I actually got to hang around the Timeville guys for a while, so I got to wrestle around with Jacob and Sal a little bit, and yeah, they both had unique styles and stuff. I bet you had a bunch of fun during that match. Whether you won, well, you did win, but even if you would have lost, you still would have had a bunch of fun wrestling.
Definitely, because wrestling kids, especially from Timeville, is always unique, because my school and their school always go head to head for the team title and stuff. So wrestling for their school has very funky styles of wrestling. So wrestling, different styles, especially for me, is very exciting. I love just wrestling. It's just something about wrestling different people is just amazing.
Yeah, that's part of what's getting the city better. And speaking of the different styles, that comes from them training in Jersey. And I heard Terry's recent interview, and he was saying that he hated the fact that plenty of the Staten Island guys, they'd be going to Jersey. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you're part of New York City. Like, stay here and train. He never liked training in Jersey. He said he did a few times. You probably know of that. And he didn't like it. So that's why I would always see you guys at Beat the Streets.
Yeah. See, like, Beat the Streets, I love training there. When I go to Jersey, like, I go to Jersey sometimes now because of, like, they're, like, there's, like, a club open that I go to just to, get practicing. But when there was Beat the Streets practices going on, Beat the Streets was, like, the most fun I've actually ever had. Wrestling with, like, Beat the Streets and, Penn and all the guys at Beat the Streets just made it very, very fun.
Yeah. I got to drill and wrestle with Dan a little bit, that's always fun.
Oh, always wrestling with Daniel. Oh, Daniel is an interesting kid to wrestle with. It's like wrestling
his head.
Yeah, Daniel is just weird. Like, it's like wrestling an octopus. Like, it's not. Because it's crazy, too, because I was wrestling Daniel, because me and Daniel were practice partners the whole, year. Because Daniel didn't really have anybody else in the room. He would still work with, some other kids, to get him, for people his weight. But when it came to technique, me and him were, basically, one of the best in the room. So there would be other kids, too, like Ryan Siller and Ramon, who would just wrestle together because they were the same weight. So Daniel didn't really have anybody else but me. So 99 pounds and 113, it kind of worked out. But there was one time wrestling in the room, but he actually brought my foot to my face. I was I was on bottom, and he brought my heel to the front of my face. I don't know how, but I ended up I was like, wait, is that my foot? I was like, whoa. And it's just wrestling Dan. It was weird, man.
Yeah, it definitely is. And he's definitely stronger than he looks.
Oh, yeah, that's one of the things, too. I talked to some people after, Daniel's match, and Daniel has, strength that you don't even see. It's when Daniel snaps you down, you're like, whoa, where did that strength come from? That's not normal. When Daniel snaps you down, you feel it. It's... Daniel, I don't know, Daniel's built different. Yeah. It's the way to put it.
Because Terry, you could kind of see what he would be good with. You could see that double leg. He looks like somebody that can do a good double leg, and that's what he does. When you're on top and stuff, you look like somebody that can do that. But Daniel,
Dan, you with when you see Daniel at 113, I was watching recently the Catholic State Finals. When I was looking at Dan, I was like, Daniel doesn't look like your typical wrestler. Daniel just looks like he showed up and just kicks ass. That's just what Daniel looks like. But when you wrestle him, you're like, yo, this kid actually knows what he's doing, and he destroys you. It's very weird because when you look at Terry, you look like, oh, that looks like a state champ. That looks like, a college wrestler. But when you look at Dan, you're just like, it's just some long kid. And then he destroys you, and you're like, yo, what? Where did that come from?
Yeah, definitely. Going back to Mayor's Cup, I think just that tournament itself was really cool. It was a lot of fun. I got to compete there my senior year, 2018. And I was in the bleachers during the middle school portion, and you were there, and you wrestled Little Bogey.
Yeah, and I remember that.
I saw everything that happened. Talk about that.
Oh, I remember that too. Because the thing, I was actually crazy too. Because I was actually nervous for that because Penn told me this is while I was really heavy with Beat the Streets, and Penn told me he was gonna have a dual meet between the all-star kids of New York. So he had all these kids here, and he's like, yeah, you're gonna go against Little Bogey. Now before Jacob, it was Bogey. I would wrestle Bogey all the time. Little Bogey, I'd wrestle him a lot. Yeah. So I saw him there, and Bogey's always a competitor. Me and him go head to head a lot. Yeah. So he ended up taking me down, and then I reversed him. And then what ended up happening is I went for a spladle. And a spladle is my move. My move, but Daniel ended up perfecting it way better than I did. Daniel hits it in high school all the time. Daniel got it down to the key. But I hit it in the Mayor's Cup, the dual meet, and then Bogey ended up calling injury time because I think I split him down the middle.
Yeah,
and it was bad. So he ended up calling injury time, and I ended up winning because it wasn't like an illegal move. It was just kind of like bad landing. So they were like, you know what, like he didn't mean it. It was, you know, like that. Because I was like even telling him like, yo, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. You know, like things like that. And yeah, I ended up getting that win.
Yeah, and Big Bogey, you know, he was cool about it. You know, it was just a wrestle match.
Yeah, Big Bogey always was cool. He didn't like get mad at me or anything. He was just more of like, it's wrestling. It comes with the sport, you know. So things happen all the time where you're just gonna have to be like, you know, it happens.
That was like, he yelled and all that, man.
Yeah, no, I ended up finding the video recently too on like one of my hard drives, and I was like, oh Jesus. That looked painful too, because he did like a full split. Like he didn't look like, it's like one of those things, like if you can't do splits and you do it, it hurts. Yeah. And it's just one of those things, and I don't know if he was able to do a split, but it didn't look like it, and it hurt.
I think he tore his groin.
Yeah, I remember that the next day on Bogey's Snappy, I think he was in like a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was only in it for like a couple of days, I think, unless it was a longer time. But at least I only saw him in it for a couple of days. But I'm happy he's fine.
Yeah, but the Mayor's Cup tournament though, like, talk about how do you like it, like your experience with it and all that?
I love it. I love it. It's a great tournament. It's one of the things that I look forward to every year, especially after freshman year, because something with the Mayor's Cup tournament, it just gives you like that head-to-head over like kids in the city, because like if you wrestle and you beat a kid that you know, you'll be like, oh yeah, I got that head-to-head over you, I'm the best in the city. So it's always to compete to see who's the best in the city. I loved it for as long as I've been there. What else? What I also love about it too is the commentary with Penn. I love being with Penn. Penn's an awesome guy. I've been with him ever since I was little, and the fact that now he's watching me wrestle in high school is a great feeling. Because because it's actually insane, because I actually used to wrestle with him at Poly Prep, like at the practices and stuff.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's crazy how quick like it grow up. Like the Mayor's Cup tournament is something I look forward to every year, and I'm kind of sad that we couldn't get it this year.
We'll be back though. We'll get it back.
No, we're getting it back definitely, but it's just one of those things where it's like if I had it this year, it would definitely like mean a little bit more, because it's like those little things within like my family that I want to like have. So if we had it this year, I'm confident. I'm not gonna say anything, but I'm confident I would have won it for the past 2 years, right? Let's say I did, I would have been the first 4-time person, like, and out of me and my brothers to win it 4 times, because Terry only won it 3.
Yep.
So if I won it 4, it would be like that little thing to have over Terry, you know, like with Terry, it's like you have to pick and choose your battles, because Terry always has like these things over me, which is annoying, because like I won middle school states, but he won high school states. So I'm like, yeah, I won middle school states, but he's like, it ain't high school. So it's like one of those things where it's like I would like to have something over him.
I remember when you got your 100 wins in middle school, but then I also saw when Terry wins in high school.
Yeah, because when I got 100 wins in middle school, it was at my city tournament, one of my I think it was like my 7th or 8th grade year. I got it, and that was amazing, because it was like good to see like everything I worked hard for was paying off. But then Terry ended up getting it in high school. I'm close to getting it. If we had an actual season this year, I would have gotten it a week or 2 into my first season. I'm at 84 now. If you count the journeyman, I'm like 87. So I'm at 80. I was at 84 and 14. That's my overall like record. So if we had a season this year, I would have definitely had well over 100.
Well, you might get one in the summer. It looks like it's gonna happen.
Yeah. So for like what the Catholic school is what they're doing is different than what public school is doing. So what Catholic school is doing is we're having like I think they said 6 weeks for now. Like as of right now, it's 6-week season. We are having up to our Catholic City tournament, and then for what they're calling it sectionals, since we're not going to be wrestling Buffalo teams for Catholic states, what they're doing for sectionals is, I think, what they're thinking of. I don't know for sure, but I know what they're thinking is they're going to take top 4 from Long Island, top 4 from my section, and I think top 4 from another section, like all the Catholic leagues, and they're going to put them in like a 16-man round bracket, which honestly doesn't sound bad because 8 or 16, it doesn't matter. If I can have something that's remotely close to what Catholic states would be, that'd be fine too, because Catholic states is also something I look forward to every year.
Yeah, cool, yeah. Definitely. But nobody from like section 6, like Buffalo and all that? Like,
nah, I don't think so, because we're not going against public school, so it's only Catholic. So
I know that, but like, like St. Mary's, for example, is up here.
I think, I don't know. I think we might, but I have no idea for sure. That's all I was told for now. I don't really know too much about it. It just sucks that we can't actually have like a full season, like full 4 months. But you got to work with what you can get.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell you, if I was you guys, I'd much rather have it, the state tournament itself, or whatever you guys are going to call it, I'd much rather have it like in Long Island or in like section 1 or something, because I'm telling you, man, taking that 8-hour trip back and forth
sucks. I did that when I wasn't even in high school. I had to do that because I don't know if it was my brother's freshman year or sophomore year, but we had to take a bus to Buffalo, and I was kind of like the plug because I had like my DS and stuff, because the Switch like wasn't out. At least I don't know if it was, I didn't have it, but I had a 3DS with games like Mario Kart and like fun games like Pokemon, things like that. Yeah, Smash Bros, all those games. So I was like the plug on keeping everybody like entertained and stuff. So I remember that. I just remember hating. Like I slept for like 2 hours, and then the other 6, it was just playing video games. It was brutal. On the way back, I knocked out because I was tired. I didn't even wrestle, but I was tired.
Yeah, that trip will do that to you.
Yeah, especially like being a fan too, like screaming at everybody.
Yeah.
Put to work on you.
Yeah, and the worst thing about it is that you can only go to Buffalo. So then now after that, you have to go even further up, and that's like harder to do. You guys had your own bus, so I guess that was a little bit easier. But for me, for example, I'd have to take some local buses to actually get to school, because I know like St. Mary's, it's not in Buffalo, it's up where I'm at right now.
Yeah, because what ended up happening is we don't really get that much like funding from the school. So when we did the bus, it was more of like everybody pitching in to get the bus. So I don't know if it was from the school or not, but I know that some people pitched in for the bus, and I know that a lot of people wanted to get the bus. So from what I think I know, I would like to say that people got the bus. But I'm happy. Honestly, I'm thankful for that bus, because that bus was comfy. It was nice.
Yeah, I guess it might have been pretty comfy.
Yeah, it was better than like a regular like transit bus.
Yeah.
Like compared to that, it's better.
Definitely. I know that for sure. Take the train next time, guys. Pitch in for the train.
Train.
So yeah, the state tournament and all that, is it always up there? Is it never like at Farrell or something? Is it always up here?
New York, Catholic. All right, so Catholic state tournament, what they do is they end up hosting it. It's like a 4-year rotation where they end up hosting it at different places each year. So it'll be like 1 year it's in Buffalo, then 1 year it's at Holy Trinity, and then 1 year it's at Farrell, and then like I forgot like the order that it's in, but it's more like each year they switch it to like a different place. So last year and the year before that, it was both at Holy Trinity. So this year, I don't know exactly where they're going to hold the sectionals. So I don't know if we're going to host it or we're going to have to take the trip down to Long Island. So I don't know what's going to happen for that. But all I know is, for the most part, for Catholic states, it's we most likely go away because of Holy Trinity in Buffalo. We have a 2 out of 3 chance that we're going away.
All right, cool. I hope the trip is good.
Yeah, the trip sometimes could be bad because for like Holy Trinity, it's like you have to stay at a hotel. But for like me and like my brothers, we didn't stay at the hotel, so we had to drive forth and back. So that puts like a strain on you too, because when you're tired, all you want to do is sleep. But you have to sleep, you know. Once you get into the car, you can sleep the ride there, but you have to like wake up, make sure you get to bed early for the next day, and then wake up earlier the next day because you have to take the ride there.
Yeah.
So that was annoying, but I got through it.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So the next thing, there was a quad meet that you guys had in 2019, I think it was, like late 2019. And it was at Fordham Prep, and apparently you guys have that every year. Just that year I was able to go because it's at Fordham Prep. For those of you who don't know, Fordham Prep's in the Bronx. I live in the Bronx. You know, made it real easy.
Yeah.
And it was you guys, Farrell, and Iona Prep, Fordham, Xavier, St. Joe's by the Sea, and Stephen.
Yes, I remember. That's we call that crossover duels.
Okay.
So we call that for us, that's crossover duels, basically where we get to wrestle basically like New York City teams. It's pretty much what that is.
Except Stephen.
Yeah, except Stephanak.
And Iona.
Yeah, so it's basically for like we have teams to compete against for crossover duels, and doing that is always fun. What I like about Fordham is they have the light scale. They have they have like a very light scale. So I was very happy about that. I weighed in like 0.6 under. Usually like I was like 0.2 under. I was like 0.6, 0.7. I was like, oh, this is easy. I was able to like eat a little bit more. I was happy.
Yeah. Watching it was pretty cool. I had to actually work one of the tables.
That's good. I got bumped up for one of those dual meets too.
Oh, you did? Which one?
Iona. I'm pretty sure it was Iona. They bumped me up to 6, I think, because I don't think they could bump me up to 13. So I think for Iona they bumped me up to 6, and I had to wrestle Rizzo, and I pinned him.
Who is that kid? I don't know who that is. I don't recognize him.
He's one of my like friends, so like I know him. So I ended up having to wrestle him. It was a good match. What ended up happening was I don't know if you know, it's called an assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up assassinating him there and just ended up sticking him. Yeah. So that was nice.
But I remember you were like serious the entire time. I'm sitting there at the table. I don't know if you noticed me, but you went over there, and then so I hadn't seen you in a while until that point. You still look the same and all that, same height and everything. But then, you know, the rest asked, you know, for your names, and you go up in there and you're like Michael Adams. I'm like, you sound like a man. What the hell happened?
Yeah, puberty, man. It hit me like I didn't even know I hit it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, to me, I still sound the same. But like I didn't even know until everybody was telling me like, yo, you sound different. And I was like, that's crazy, because like I didn't think I did, but a lot of people were telling me that I sound different. So I was like, that's good to hear. I'm happy something's changing, because I'm still the same height, so nothing else, at least I thought, was changing.
Still the same height. Still got the baby face.
Always. I'm gonna live with that. That's just how it's gonna be.
Yeah, you and Dan. Yeah.
That's just how it is. That's just we just got blessed with that.
You know, the funny thing is, I remember the old training center that we had in Soho, and all 3 of you were there, and I would talk with all three of you individually. I'd wrestle with Dan because he's the bigger out of the three of you. But I didn't know that you guys were related. You all don't look alike.
Yeah, no, not at all. Because Terry looks more like my mom, as in like, tanner, like
curly hair,
yeah, curly hair, and like Daniel looks more like my dad, like taller, light, like lankier, curly hair as well. I think that's just the thing that we have. But I look like a mix of them. So like if you see them and then you see me in the middle, you're gonna be like, oh, that makes sense. But if you see us like split together and they're like, oh, you guys are related, you're not gonna like know right away.
Exactly. Yeah.
You'd only know by the way we act towards each other. That's pretty much it. Because like we act. Yeah. Because like the way that I act towards like them, you could definitely tell like, oh yeah, they're brothers. Like.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Yeah. But how does it feel being the youngest? Because from experience, man, being the younger brother, I'm the youngest. It's man.
It's pros and cons for me. So the thing is that a lot of people take out from it is like being younger sucks, but also I got like blessed with like experience, because for me, since I was younger, I started earlier than when my brother started. So Terry started like 7th grade year or 6th in middle school. I started when I was in like 3rd or 4th grade. So that's a big jump between like how he started school wrestling and I started wrestling. Same thing with Daniel. Daniel started when he was in like middle school as well, but I started when I was in elementary school. So being younger only gave me like more like experience wrestling. When it comes to like accolades and competition, it's always a battle. Always. We always, at least with me, I always want to outdo them. And it's not only in wrestling that I also have to outdo them in, it's also in school too. Because since we go to the same school, we get the same teachers. And when we get the same teachers, it could be good, it could be bad. If Daniel was good with the teacher, the teacher would, be like, oh, since I like your brother, I'll give you some leeway. But if he was bad with the teacher, oh God, it's just never goes well for me. Because it's like, we're all good kids, like good students, like we all pay attention and things like that. But it's just things that like my brothers did that they would always like dislike. Like if you didn't participate as much, they'll be like, oh yeah, your brother was good, but he never like participated at all. And then they're gonna be like, oh, I hope you could do better than that. Now I have to participate in a class I don't even like, because I can't be the same. I have to be like, yeah, I participated more than you, so I'm better. Like it's one of those. It's just one of those things where it's always like a competition, even outside of wrestling.
Yeah.
Because it's like not even that too. Because it's like so many things that like you would just want to like job wise, like you want to get like a better career. Like it's just you want to succeed more than they do. So it's always like a head-to-head conversation. Or like competition. That's what I meant, not conversation. But,
yeah, definitely. Yeah. You think there's ever gonna be a time like, I don't know if you're gonna wrestle in college or yet, but if you decide to, you think there's ever gonna be a time you and Terry go at it?
If we go to a different school, I could see it happening. I don't know if I'm gonna go to the same school. I don't know if I'm not gonna go to the same school. But if we end up not going to the same school and Terry's still 125. I'll wrestle him at 125. But that's also if I decide to go D3 as well.
Yeah.
But I think most likely I might go D3 only because D3 is a smaller school and I'm not into like major schools, like massive big schools, because I'm more into like one-on-one teaching. Like I learn better one-on-one more than within like a full class.
Yeah.
So I might end up doing that. I don't know like for sure what's gonna happen. But if I wrestle Terry, I wrestle Terry. I love wrestling Terry. I love and hate it. Yeah, I love it.
You're starting to sound like him.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Like, see right there, like you kind of sound just like him.
Yeah, after being with him for a long time, you tend to pick up some things. it's interesting. I talk like a mix of my brothers. Like the way I talk is just a mix. It's good and bad. But at least I'd much rather talk like them than somebody else. So.
Yeah, true. Because you used to sound pretty unique and all that, and you've always had like a powerful voice. Like I remember, I was at a tournament. We were at one of the steeplechases. It was at Patrides. It was freestyle and Greco. I was in a freestyle match, and then I hit a throw, and I hear you from West Bumblefuck, wherever you were. You were like, Julius, music. I'm like, where the hell is he?
Yeah, that's one of like my famous lines too. Use it. This is something I scream at like now. It's like a broken record with my team.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember that tournament too.
Yeah. I didn't get any points off that throw.
The refs are all crazy in Patrides, man.
Yeah, exactly. One of them is a ref actually, Mike the 40, or is it Joe?
Yeah. I think it's Joe because Mike is the kid.
Yeah, Joe the 40. He's a ref.
Yeah, I remember because I was like, "Yo, use that," and you were like, "Yo, what?"
Yeah, like I hear you off in the distance. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch. It's crazy. But like, yo, those foul matches though. So that little the crossover duels. That was the only time I actually attended a Farrell match live, and your mom could not stop.
Yo, she's built different when it comes. I'm wrestling, bro. Like, how do you think that feel? Like, it's not. Here's the thing. It's not bad. It's just very loud. Like, it's not something awful. It's just like, I don't get how her throat doesn't kill her. Like, by the end of like when she walks home, it's the same. Like, it's not like her voice got like that throat's killing me. No, it's fine. Like, she talks normally throughout the entire day. So she screams like that and then comes home talking normally. And I'm like, how do you do that? Like, she screams loud. You could hear her, like, from, like, the other side of, like, Guam. So you're just, like, it's just, like, crazy. And it's, like, everybody's like, oh, yeah, she gives you a headache. I'm like, yeah, it's loud. It's very loud. Like, and the thing is, too, when I'm wrestling, I could barely hear it. And that's like, saying something.
I mean, you're probably used to that if
at this point, it's probably just like I probably like blur her out. Like I definitely hear it when I look at her, because like when I look at her, she just screams at me like go. So I'm like, when I look at her, I hear it. But other than that, it's just like it's just me and the other guy. But she's loud, man. I think it's just big things come in small packages type thing. But she is just loud, and she's Latina.
Yeah.
Doesn't help.
And your dad is just sitting there.
Yeah, just filming.
Chilling. He would talk to me at tournaments and all that, sitting there chilling. But your mom was just high energy. It's like,
yeah, high energy. But then like she complains later today, like, oh, I'm tired. I don't want to do anything. Like you just jumped around for like 3 minutes. What do you mean? Like you don't want to go out? Like. Like she's different than mom, but still love her. So
yeah, that's your mom.
Yeah, you can't not like your mom. That's kind of like messed up.
Yeah. And then when Dan was wrestling, man, he was just so calm. And then he hit that banana split on that Iona Prep kid, and that Iona Prep kid sitting there crying. I'm watching him cry too.
Yeah, that's amazing too, because a lot of things that Daniel did that season is like amazing. Because the crazy thing is too, because I remember like during like that off season, Daniel would like talk to me. He's like, yo, like, let me see that, like, let me see that. And then like he practiced it so much to where like the banana split just became his thing. Like the Iona kid was like, was not the only kid that he did that in. He did that on his first match at like Horace Greeley. He did it at Catholic States. He did it at Catholic State Duels. He did it at just a whole bunch of kids. And it's just crazy to like see this kid just banana split everybody, or just spladle everybody. And I'm just sitting there like, what am I doing wrong? Because I can't get that easy on people. I just can't. Like, I can get it like if I really like force it over, but it's not like something I mainly look for. This kid would just latch on and just get you, and you're just like, this hurts. I'm gonna cry. This is painful, especially the way Dan does it. Daniel is like long, so like he can grab like multiple things at like once. So like he'll grab your other foot too. Oh no, it's painful, man.
Yeah, he'll grab like all 4 limbs at once.
Yeah, he'll grab your other leg too and just like crank it. And you're just like, dude, like I was sitting there at practice. I'm like, dude, it's practice. Like, what are you doing to me?
Yeah, exactly. And I've had that put on me, but you know, good thing I'm flexible. Like I'm kind of like Dan. I stretch and all that. But I remember we had a talent show at Beat the Streets, and somebody sat down and got a video, and Dan is just sitting there, you know, freaking putting his leg over his head. You're over there doing flips and all that.
Yeah, like, I remember that. That was good too. I missed those camps, man. Those camps were amazing.
They were too fun. Oh, remember when Bogey Demetrius?
Yeah.
They went up there talking about the light skin, the brown skin temptations.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was also what was awesome was Craig Sampson, the water bottle flip when he missed that.
Yeah.
And when he missed that, everybody was just like, "Aw!" And then when he left like the stage, everybody was booing him and everything. I was like, poor Craig, man. He didn't deserve that.
He really thought, man.
Yeah, if he landed it, he would have won the talent show. Like everybody would have voted for him. Like you can't do that. Yeah,
like exactly. You're over there working hard, flipping. People got like doing WWE moves and all that, and then he flips a bottle.
Yeah, the thing is too is I'm actually really good at that. Like surprisingly, like anybody that knows me knows like how really good I am at that. It's just like a talent. Like I might enter like professional water bottle flipping and just pursue that, but I'm just nice at that. I don't know why. It's crazy. I should have done it.
I can't do that, and I can't do the when you kick the cap off the bottle and the bottle doesn't move. I
never tried that one, and I'm not going to.
I've seen other youth wrestlers do it. Matter of fact, a kid from Team Elite, you know, Alexander?
Yeah, I know Alexander.
I saw him do it.
He actually did it?
Yeah.
Nah, bro, that's crazy. I don't get that. You have to be a different type of, like, flexible and, like, you have to have leg strength, too, because I can't even kick, like.
Oh, you can't? Oh, wow.
I could kick high, but it's not, like, an athletic kick. It's just more like I watched Karate Kid and I went to go outside and do a kick-type kick. That's what my kick looks like.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of kicking, I remember one of the junior league tournaments. It was at Truman. I think it was the last one Farrell was at because Jacob Levin had told me that Farrell's not part of Beat the Streets anymore. For what reason? Nobody knows. Maybe you do, but I remember we were doing like some pro wrestling stuff. I guess you just wanted to mess around and you hit me like a super kick.
At what?
It was at one of the youth tournaments.
Me hitting a super kick on somebody?
On me, yeah. You're like messing
around.
Oh,
yeah. I remember that. You and me were messing around. Yeah, I remember that.
And he DDT'd me.
Yeah, I remember we were screwing around playing like with WWE because I didn't know that you were like a big fan of WWE. Like I like got the time and you were like, yo, I know it. I was like, yo, we playing around right now, so we were just going crazy. That was fun. I love like playing WWE. Like that's just fun. That also helps you sweat a lot too. So I love it. Like, you know, help me losing weight. Yeah, just start like super kicking kids. So
yeah. Oh, you know they made a rule now. You can't slap the leg anymore.
Oh yeah. That's stupid. It makes it more dramatic.
Yeah, like Shawn Michaels did all the time.
Shawn Michaels my favorite, man.
Yeah, yeah, of all time, yeah. But right now, I mean, nobody's better than AJ.
Right now, I would probably say Finn Balor right now.
You think Finn Balor's better than the phenomenal AJ Styles?
That's a different topic for another day, man. Yeah, we could. This podcast will go all night if we talk about WWE.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I might also lose a lot of viewers. No one wants to hear about fake wrestling.
Fake wrestling, yeah.
I remember I asked recently, like last week, I asked Jacob a question about it because I see a lot of MMA techniques getting used in there. This is going back like over the years because, you know, Ken Shamrock and people like that go in there. Yeah. And I asked Jacob, like, how do you feel about them doing that? he like really just didn't care for the question. He was like, "It's fake, bro. I don't watch it."
Yeah. Nah, I guess it's more a personal thing, you know, as in like,
it's like a niche.
Yeah, you know, like if he doesn't watch it, then it's just something he doesn't really care too highly about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you know, that's what got me into wrestling. Really, I saw Kurt Angle, I saw Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, what I also like too is that like, with like the NCAAs and stuff, is that how you're able to get like real wrestling into like the WWE. Like a lot of WWE superstars you don't know are actually like in the UFC and in like wrestling, which I think is actually kind of cool because like Kurt Angle was, you know, he won a gold medal. Brock Lesnar NCAA champ. Dolph Ziggler actually wrestled in NCAAs. Matt Riddle was a UFC fighter. Like there's just a lot of people there. Shayna Baszler also was a UFC fighter.
UFC?
Yeah, Shayna Baszler was in the UFC. She actually, one of the videos I actually know her from is her getting knocked out by Cyborg.
Oh.
Yeah, she got put to sleep. I was like, jeez. It was the video of Cyborg celebrating too early, and then her coming back and finishing the job. That was Shayna Baszler.
Oh wow.
Matt Riddle also wrestled for New York.
Yep.
And that's good. So I didn't know that, but my brother ended up telling me that recently.
Yeah, I saw the documentary on the show, you know. Matt Riddle, man, he made it to the highest levels.
Yeah, I didn't know that. My brother ended up Dan was like, yo, did you know that Matt Riddle ended up wrestling for New York? And I was like, nah, I didn't know that. And he was like, yo, it's like actually kind of sick. He ended up winning states. I was like, whoa, that's insane. I was like, that's crazy. I like how it all connects too.
Yeah, he got some real high levels, man.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Wow, you just completely missed the joke.
High levels?
Yeah.
I completely missed it.
Why do you think? Yeah, so the reason why he was no longer with the UFC is because he couldn't pass a drug test.
Oh, I didn't. I actually never knew that. I actually asked Dan why he ended up getting kicked out of the UFC. I didn't know it was because of that.
Yeah, he was on a 4-fight undefeated streak.
Yeah, and shit. That always gets everybody, man.
Yeah,
John Jones, man, just ruins him. He would have broken every single record.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. He really is the best of all time.
Facts. I agree with that. That's facts.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but it's cool to really learn about a bunch of different kinds of things, not just be so boxed in. Like there's other things you could use wrestling for. Exactly,
too. I also like that wrestling branches off into 3 styles, which is amazing because no other sport really branches off into styles, So to see wrestling, you have folk style, freestyle, and Greco. And personally, I think everybody should learn the 3 styles because I think it's very important to wrestling.
Definitely. Greco definitely help out with your hand fighting, like keep your elbows in and stuff.
Yeah. What I also like that freestyle is Greco could help with freestyle, and freestyle could help with folk style, and folk style could help with freestyle. So it's like they all help each other. So might as well learn all 3 of them to get your fundamentals better.
Definitely. I remember Coach Dimitri. He was working with Beat the Streets for a while. I got to train with him for free, and he was teaching a lot of moves that would work in all 3 styles. He wasn't just teaching moves that could only work in one style.
Yeah, I wrestled with Dimitri too at Elite. I wrestled with some of the kids there at Elite, and they would be practicing different styles throughout the entire year. Like they would at least for me they would do freestyle, and then they would focus on folk style. But as you said, the folk style moves that they would teach you could use literally at any level or at actually any style, which honestly I was happy about because I wasn't only learning just one style, I was learning 3. So to learn 3 styles at one practice you can't ask for anything better, honestly.
You can't. And going back to the Beat the Streets practices, man, they were just so fun.
They were amazing. They were amazing.
Probably was just a great environment and all that. You know, and I didn't mind traveling that far because I live far, really far. But I didn't mind traveling down there on a Sunday, man, because usually it would be nice weather and all that. And I would look forward to seeing certain people in there because something I would notice is when I'm drilling, like Penn would call, explain the move and yada yada, and then we get ready to drill it. And then I noticed that Terry's like looking at me for a bit to like see what I'm doing. Now, do I know why? I mean, I've him. I'm not gonna make any assumptions, but that just felt really cool that like somebody like that at a high level was even paying attention to me at all. You know, that really made me work harder and everything else while I was in there. So, that made me look forward to seeing you and Terry and Dan and some of the high level guys that would come down there and stuff. I remember one time I was there, right, and Penn was sitting down, and then people were asking like, "Oh, who's gonna come later? Who's gonna come?" And then I was like, "Oh, the Adams are coming." And Penn was like, "Nah, they just texted me, not coming." I'm like, "What the hell is the point of me being
here?" Yeah, we made it a lot of the time. Like when the times that we could make it, we would go. And I would actually go there, and if there was nobody for me to wrestle with, I'd just play with like the dodgeball in the back. I don't know if you'd see me, but I'd I'd be playing with like a soccer ball and things like that. I'd be playing like basketball. Like I'd pay attention to like the moves that he would show, and then when we break off, I would just go do something else. I would talk to Penn a lot. I remember that too. Do you remember when you were chasing like the geese?
Yeah,
that was funny. Because you like, he's like, "Yo, I'm hungry. Let me eat these geese," and you just start chasing them. I was like, "Yo."
I remember what I said because Terry was like, "Well, you better be careful. They're gonna bite your ass." And I'm saying, I'm black. I eat birds.
Oh yeah. They're like, you're like they're scared of me.
Yeah, they're scared of me.
Yeah, that was funny. I remember that.
You're about to tell your dad what I said. I'm like, "Yo, keep your mouth going."
But yeah, I missed that. It was probably was fun. I love wrestling with Penn too. Penn's wrestling with Penn is just.
I never got to.
I got to like not like fully wrestle with him, but I got to like play around wrestle with him. Yeah. And it was just fun. He's obviously fundamentally way better than me, but he would still like take it easy and things like that. And by him taking it easy, it actually helped me get better. Because I still remember those stuff that we used to do too. So,
but I noticed though, and I noticed with Matthew Sides as well. They won't wrestle me. It's not a matter of who might win or lose or something. It's just, I'm pretty aggressive. Like, I'm not gonna they might get hurt. Like Penn, he got some knee injuries on him. Matt Sides down at when he was running the Tottenville practices at Big Apple games. He has a shoulder injury. Me and him never ever wrestled at all. Like he'd wrestle with everybody else. We would wrestle with the same people, but we would never wrestle each other because if I'm wrestling him, I'm gonna wrestle him like especially now being in college, I'm gonna wrestle him like a man. Like
yeah. That's what I do too. Is like especially for me, I'm not like too aggressive when I wrestle. I'm more of like counter wrestler, but when I am aggressive, it's not fun for anybody because when I get aggressive, it's more of I would have to be like really mad. Yeah. But for the most part, like a lot of there's some aggressive kids on the team that I don't even wrestle, and they're like my teammates, but I only wrestle with them because of like my coach tells me to. But if it was up to me, like I wouldn't. It's just like a lot of kids when they go aggressive, you can get hurt, and it's not something that I want to really. I don't want to get hurt now, especially not anytime soon. I have a couple years left in my high school.
Definitely,
I'm not gonna risk it, but yeah, I love everybody on my team.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And Poly, man, just the mixes we'd always get from the Beat the Streets training centers. Each borough kind of had their own style and things like that. Everybody from different teams. It was always really cool. I remember one time we were going to go into shark groups, and then I was in the group with Terry. I went there. It was Terry, Dove, and Dan. And this is after Terry and Dove did what they did, All-American and all that. And then Penn was like, all right, have this guy go over to the other guys. And those two, there were some two heavier guys. They were like, I'd say 140 something, 150 something. At the time, I was like 132. So they're still heavier than me, but because I was the heaviest guy, that made me go there. And that pissed me off because I wanted to, wrestle with the All-Americans and stuff. But
yeah, no, I get it.
Heavy guys.
I remember wrestling Dove too, because I actually got to wrestle Dove a lot. Like playing around wise, I got to wrestle Dove a lot. I wrestled him at Easterns once. I wrestled him at Poly, and wrestling Dove is interesting. He's very good, very good.
Yeah, he is. I actually got to wrestle him after he came off his injury, and I guess he kind of trusted me to take care of him and stuff like that when he was because he was coming off an injury. So we got to drill and things like that, and we got to go live a little bit. Obviously, I couldn't really, but wished I would do some stuff, and he helped me out with my tilts and things, and just the little things he would do, wrestling and all that. And now he's jacked up, jacked to the gills. He's probably gotten even better.
Yeah. Also, who's good too that was there was Berkovich. Berkovich was an animal.
I never saw him on Sundays.
He wouldn't come too much on those practices, but him wrestling for Poly was big. He was an animal. He really was.
Yeah, definitely. I never got the chance to wrestle with him. I remember one time it was a Beat the Streets practice. I came back as an alumni and he was, he's at Columbia wrestling there, and he was drilling a little bit, and we talked a little bit. We said what's up and all that, but me and him were in the same place. Yeah. I should have just grabbed him and just started wrestling with him.
Yeah.
That would have been my only shot.
Yeah, you got to take the chances.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like wrestling with all the Beat the Streets kids. There's a lot of kids that I still know now because of the Beat the Streets program. So wrestling with the Beat the Streets program definitely helped me a lot with wrestling.
Definitely did. Yeah, it helped me out too.
Yeah.
And also the coaching aspect, because people know I've been starting to do that, but it started there. So Penn would help out the younger guys in the morning, and then I remember I asked him one time, could we come help out and stuff? He said sure. And I'm probably the last person he would have thought that would actually help him out in the morning, because I'm all the way up in the Bronx, and Poly Prep is in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. That's an hour and 40 minutes for me.
Yeah.
On a Sunday, the New York City train system acts stupid on Sundays. So.
Yeah.
But he always thanked me all the time when I would help out and stuff, because it's only one person dealing with all those kids, So it definitely helped me being there.
Yeah, I would never usually go to the earlier ones because
you were on many levels above them even then.
Yeah, so I would be wrestling with the high school kids. Yeah. Those were fun. I actually like wrestling at those high school practices. Those always be something I remember.
I remember he would have the Mayor's Cup trophy, and then he'd have a bunch of warm-ups written down on them little confetti paper things.
Yeah.
And whichever one we picked out, that's what we had to do. I remember I picked one, and it was a wrestling workout.
Yeah. Yeah, because we would get to play mat ball and things like that.
Yeah.
And we ended up picking up we had to do a hard warm-up or something, and we were just Julius, come on, man.
You don't blame it on me, man.
Yeah, it was just I was whatever, man. It was it's all
I remember 25 mat returns. Me and Dan were going, so that was good. I didn't have anybody that was gonna beat me up.
Yeah, that's good. What a lot of people take for granted too is getting beaten up is a good thing. It obviously sucks. I'm not gonna say be happy you're getting beaten up, but it's not it's a bad thing. If somebody's above the level and you're getting beaten up, it's good because you're learning. It's not you're not gaining anything from it.
Yeah, you need someone to push you, but there is a difference between when someone's just beating you up just because they're better and when they're actually trying to help you get better.
Yeah, because if you're doing it just to be an ass, then that's just what's the point of that? But if you're doing it to, get them stronger, which is actually what Terry and Dan did with me, because to them, I basically got babied when it came to wrestling. So I never really had to go through all the tough practices that they have. So when I was in high school, since all three of us were there the same year, Terry would just kill me. Terry really wouldn't like wrestling me that much because he would have like Jimmy and things like that too. So he obviously had like better kids to wrestle with him. But when he's not wrestling them, I would like wrestle him. Me and him would just go at it. Obviously, he'd win at those times, but you know, now me and him still go at it, and he's at college. Like when we since there was like nothing open on Staten Island, I went to like a club in Jersey, and I like took him with me. I was like, "You want to come?" He was like, "Yeah, sure." You know, I haven't wrestled in a little bit. It would be nice to get on the mat. So me and him ended up going like head to head. You know, like scrapping. Like I was talking smack to him like the entire time. You know, just doing what we do. You know, like this is how it is. It's because the thing is, I don't talk smack to anybody that I don't know. Like if I only do it to like my brothers. Like if I'm wrestling to my brothers, I'm talking to them while I'm wrestling. If I don't know you like on the same level as my brothers, I'm not going to talk to you while I wrestle. Unless you really get me mad, then that's you. Because I have said things to kids before. But that's different.
Yeah. You've always had like that presence. I remember at the youth city tournament, that big kid with the high pitched voice, he kept going shoot, and you kept looking at him like, yo, shut up. And back then, it didn't sound like you do now. So that was like the most hilarious thing to see a short kid with like a higher pitched voice just telling everybody like shut up. Like,
yeah, it was also some things too because it's like I actually don't remember that because also when I was younger I was like annoying. So I actually won't doubt that happened, but I definitely matured a lot more than that. But I haven't, said anything out of line like that in a while. So I'm happy that I've at least grown up in that aspect.
Yeah, I remember Penn would like have to like yell at you sometimes to like stop messing around.
Oh, definitely. I mess around a lot, like goof off too much, and I goof off still here, like now, but not as much as I used to. Like I know there's still a time and place whether to goof off or not. So
there's that video that keeps circulating. I think John Basile posted it, or maybe Richie Capiello posted it. You're standing on top of you're in the locker room. You're standing on top of the bench, and I guess you're trying to motivate everybody before the match.
Did I? I don't remember that. I think it was what? I think it was like we were trying to get the team hype before like one of the we had a dual meet. I think it was that, or Catholic State duels. I think it was. We host that, so yeah. We gotta hype the team up. That's just how it is. Yeah, I'm a team player.
Yeah, but did you sound like how you do now, or did you sound like how you did back then? Because
I say probably in the middle. Definitely because I always will have the high pitched voice. I would always have the lighter voice. I think that's just how I am. I'm always gonna have that unless puberty hits me like a truck. I'm pretty sure that's just how it's gonna be.
It's a lot deeper than it used to be.
I'm happy it's a lot deeper than it used to be because I never liked my voice, so I haven't heard it in a while. But if it's anything like my other voice, I never really liked it because my other voice was very squeaky, like Mickey Mouse. So never really liked it.
It would sound like pretty cool though. It was unique,
Yeah.
At the states, the 2020 states, the real state tournament, you were standing on the table or something. You stand on top of something and you were like giving a speech.
Yeah. I'm a big speech guy. I always gotta motivate people. I always be standing on top of things too, because everybody's like, "Oh, I saw you like standing on top of that thing," and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Was I?"
That's because you're short, right? Like...
Yeah, I have to see, because like I grew a little bit from like last season, like maybe like a couple inches. To you guys, that's not a lot. To me, that's like everything. So it's like I did grow like a little bit. So. But yeah, I gotta stand on top of things. I gotta get to see over people.
I always notice, like, whenever I'm talking to somebody short that I know, they're always standing on something. Like I remember one time at Tocqueville, I was talking with Jacob, and he's standing on top. You know how they got like the circle tables in the cafeteria? They got the seats.
Yeah.
He's standing on top. I remember under the lights, we had like a little, like a simple machine type thing where it had wheels under it. And Sean wanted us to get the weights and stuff to put them on the mats. They didn't like move the mats or anything like that because you couldn't really tape them on the grass and stuff. So then we got that and we put the weights on there. And, you know, we're decent-sized people. But then there's Jacob. At the time, well, little did we know. I found out later he's insanely strong for his size. But at the time, you know, I didn't know. I don't think they knew. But then he's like, you know, he's not carrying anything. So he's just standing on the thing, and it's like he's riding it as we're pushing. I'm like, yo, Jacob, get off the thing. Get off. And there was another time, we were on the train after Poly. It was me, the Grand Street guys, Brandon Nunez, some Eagle guys, and some situation had happened. Go listen to that episode. That was crazy. There was some guy that was trying to attack us, and then afterwards, Brandon was like standing on top of the train seat and all that, like getting riled up.
Yeah, I think it's just a short person thing, man. Yeah. I would always stand on top of things too, but I'd also stand on like the wrong things. Like I remember, like we would like if I'm in my house, I'd be standing on like tables and shit. But also like when my teammates would be setting up for tournaments, like they would be moving mats, and I wouldn't see anybody on the mat, so I'd stand on top of it. Next thing I know, I'm getting yelled at to get off the mat. So I'm just like, okay, like hey, wrong place, wrong time. Like I'll do it another time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm always standing on top of things, man. I like the tall point of view sometimes. Get to see it from other people's eyes, you know, it's kind of nice.
And then there's us taller people who just leaning on stuff all the time.
Yeah, I hate. One thing I do hate is getting like armrest, but at the same time it's like a joke now, so it's like it's whatever. But when I was younger, I really hated it. You know, like everybody be like, "Oh, you know, you're my personal armrest." I'm like, "Yo, get off me before I kill you! Like, get out of here!" Don't touch me, bro. Like, especially now too, a lot of people don't do that because, you know, like especially last year, I was like cutting like hard weight, so it was like nobody really messed with me on like Fridays. Like Friday was my day. I told everybody, like my friend group, I was like, "Yo, don't talk to me Fridays, bro. It's just not it. Fridays is the last hard day, and Friday's like the most stressful day." So I was like, "Don't talk to me. Monday we're friends again. Like, don't talk to me."
Like I'm wondering, like, why do people get mad when they come up weight? And I'm sitting there chilling, goofing around, laughing and stuff, and it's just as I'm coming weight, doing the same thing everyone else is doing. And I'm like all happy and jolly, and there's some other people like on my college team getting all mad. Like, "Oh, I'm cutting weight. Oh, we're cutting weight, man. What the hell are you getting mad?"
Yeah, it's more like a love hate because I like it. It's just I have to like have to be with the right people to enjoy it. It's not something I could just wake up and be like, "All right, today I'm cutting weight. Let's get to it." You have to do it a lot and just you have to like it, because for me it was like my first time really doing like a hard cut because I was doing 12 pounds a week for the entire year. So 12 pounds for me is like a lot, especially for me. I had like, I think it was 5% body fat or less, something like that, or even a little more, like 7. It was below 10. So I had a lot less body fat to be cutting out, and just to take that away to cut weight is, you know, I'm not going to be ecstatic. So I wouldn't be too harsh on people because I know like I'm not like like a mean kid. So I'm like, I was nice to like kids who didn't know what it was. But I felt bad for my teammate, like one of my practice partners, because I'd like push him every day to like, if he was tired. No, Caserta, he's one of like my best friends. I would like yell at him like, "Yo, like let's go! I have weight to lose. Like keep going." And he'd be like gassed, like wanting to die, and I'm like pushing him to get up and things like that, which honestly helped him because, you know, like his stamina got way better because I kept yelling at him. But, you know, at the same time, for his first year to be wrestling, for me to be doing that is, you know, not very good. That's one hell of a first year, you know.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah, so all that stuff, man, those are fun times back then.
Yeah, it's also one of those things too, because when I stop doing it, or like let's just say like if I do wrestling in college, you know, 4 years after that, like once I stop with the whole wrestling and weight cutting thing, it's gonna be like, wow, like, you know, like you miss it, you know, it's gonna be something where it's like, you know, I wish I could do that again. I mean, probably less more of the cutting weight, but I know like a lot of alumni from my team, like they're doing tournaments now, like SEPA, they have like open tournaments for like coaches and things like that. Yeah. And a lot of people for my alumni like just go. So I think that's kind of cool. So I saw
Richie and Siller and them were at one.
Yeah. So they were at one recently, and that's kind of cool, you know, just to still be, you know, out of wrestling but still not out, you know.
Yeah. I wrestled at the Hofstra one, and I wrestled at the one Beat the Streets. Puts up the alumni one that they do, just to fundraise for Beat the Streets. Actually wrestled somebody from Farrell, actually.
Who?
Christopher. He's a referee.
I think I know faces more than I know names. So honestly,
and he's older than me, so I mean, you probably wouldn't know him.
Yeah, you're right.
No, you know him as a ref, because I remember at the when you took third at Middle School Cities, it was at Truman. Apparently, somebody lost to. You were talking to him after, and he felt that was really good sportsmanship, so he gave you the sportsmanship.
Oh yeah. I remember that. Yeah. Yeah. I remember who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I remember him. Yeah, I know him. he's a good. Yeah. So what ended up happening is, I remember losing that too. It was a close match, but it was what's his name, Julio, and I ended up losing to him. Looking back on the video, it was some like mixed like mishap where like they ended up giving like wrong kids wrong points, but even then I still ended up like, because we both had the same singlet, like the exact same. Yeah. So the ref ended up getting confused with like the points and stuff. So I was like looking at it like after, I was like, whatever, like I can't change it. So I was like, whatever. But he ended up giving me the whistle because it was like sportsmanship, and it was actually crazy too because he wasn't the first ref to want to give me it. I had like two other refs come up to me and like, yeah, did you get the sportsmanship whistle yet? And I was like, yeah. They were like, fuck. And then like they ended up having to try finding somebody else to do it. I was like, what did I do? Like to me that's like normal, you know, like I do what I do, and I wasn't expecting like, you know, a whistle. I was just, you know, talking to a kid, and you know, wasn't really expecting anything out of it. Exactly,
yeah. I remember I had gotten one just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then the first thing I did was blow the whistle.
Yeah. That's what I did too. You gotta let them hear it.
But my coaches did not like that. Because the tournament was still going on.
Yeah, that was good times. I miss like middle school too. Middle school was good. I didn't have to cut weight in middle school. It's pretty much what I miss the most.
The thing you love about the most, yeah.
Yeah, because middle school, I was, no matter what I weighed, I like wrestled there. But in my high school, there's like to help the team out, I go weights. It's not really like my coach is telling me to go weights. It's more of like I do it to help the team. Because like if we don't have somebody in a weight, and I have to lose like 12 pounds to go to the weight, I'll go to the weight, you know. I help the team out.
Yeah.
So that's what I ended up having to do. Yeah, you know, like I'll do it, but you know, just don't expect me to be like, you know, nice. You know, like
exactly.
I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it in a way that you guys might not like. But
definitely,
still ended up getting done, so I was happy.
Yeah. So now I guess you got Virginia Beach coming up.
Yeah, Virginia Beach. I have to see about that because one of the things that they were like backed up until they only took like the first couple of kids that were gonna go. So a lot of kids pre-registered like really early. So I have to see about that.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
Because a lot of kids were like pre-registering and they were like talking to like the guy and they were like, yeah, we will get you in. So a lot of kids ended up getting in already. So I have to see about like the seats and stuff. And yeah.
Oh well, you know, it'd be really cool about Virginia Beach. They should put an open division in there.
They should. I think that'd be kind of cool to see people go at it at Virginia Beach.
I would love to go in there.
Yeah, you know, go out there and just wrestle.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you know, open tournaments are always just so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah. What I also like about like some of the SEPA tournaments, like too, is that it's round robin. I don't have to cut weight for it. I can just go and wrestle. You know, get the experience that you want.
Exactly. They call it Madison weights, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Madison weight.
Yeah,
it's always so fun.
Yeah.
Man, I wish it was Madison weight.
Yeah.
It's just.
But have you ever been to Virginia Beach at all? Because I know Terry might have wrestled at it before. I could be wrong.
I think Terry wrestled at it once, and another kid, Jimmy, wrestled at it.
Yeah, I know Jimmy. Yeah.
Me personally, I've never wrestled at it.
You
never wanted to.
You never traveled with
Terry? I think I've traveled with. If I have, I don't remember. But it's one of those things where it's like I want to do it for myself. So I wanted to try it, but with this whole COVID thing, it sucks. Because there's a lot of things I was gonna try, but I can't do it. Like Fargo, I was thinking of doing that, but my season interferes with it, so I'm not gonna go out of my team to wrestle for Fargo, so I have to do that.
Exactly.
So
and that's a choice not a lot of athletes are willing to make. Me personally, I'm going to Fargo.
Yeah.
But you're a team player.
Yeah, I always put my team first. Team for me, team is everything. Because how do I expect my team to help me for something if I won't help them? That's just how I am. But
exactly,
so I was thinking about that, and I ended up getting told that it's like one of the qualifiers is like May 14th or something like that. And I was like, wow, my season starts like soon. Like the first competition is like May 1st. Like my season technically starts this weekend, but we need like a full 2 weeks of practice before we can actually be able to compete. So we actually start competing in May. So and then 6 weeks from there, it ends in like June, towards the end of June, something like that. Haven't got the schedule yet. I'm just going off the top of the head. So
definitely, yeah.
So it just sucks because I would love to go to Fargo.
Yeah.
I definitely might do some might do some off season freestyle tournaments. Like if they have it, I'll attend a couple. But for the most part, I'm focusing on my team and getting the Catholic City title.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And if Under the Lights happens again, man, Under the Lights was so fun.
Under the Lights was amazing.
Yeah, it was fun.
I always wrestled the same kid there. I wrestled Nikki Campanella from Elite. Always wrestled him. I felt bad because I wrestled him at Patrides once. And
you beat him?
Yeah, I threw him for 4. And then rolled him. But the thing is, it was like the way that I rolled him, the way that I threw him for 4 was like when I tell you it was a spine buster, it was a spine buster. Like I lifted him up like that and threw him down. And the ref, man, it was George, the ref, so George let her go. So it was just 4. And I was like, okay, that was actually kind of sick.
It's crazy.
So I was very happy about that. I was like, my first 4, that's kind of cool. A spine buster for your first 4.
You got away with that.
Yeah, it wasn't like illegal, but it looked painful. I bet. Because I lifted him up and I just swept his other foot out of him. So it literally was a spine buster. It was tough, man. I felt really bad for him, but then at the same time I was happy I won. But I wanted to make sure he was okay. Always gonna make sure that your opponent's okay. After the match.
Yeah, after the match, yeah.
After the match. When I'm wrestling, it fades my mind a little bit. But after the match, definitely want to make sure he's okay.
Yeah, Jacob actually wrestled him in the middle school finals at the Pratt Institute. That's where you got your 100th win.
He won?
Yeah, Jacob beat him.
Yeah, I didn't see the match. That's good.
It was really quick.
Always good. Yeah, Jacob has always been a top competitor too. Within the city. So he's always somebody that I look forward to for wrestling every year. I'm let's see if I could, let's see how good he's gotten. Because I always want to test my levels. See if I've gotten better or worse from that year, or if he's gotten better or worse. So it's just it was always one of those tests of to see who's gotten better. So
and I've gotten to wrestle with him a little bit at Tottenville, and I got to hand fight with him a little. Yeah. And I remember we were doing mat returns, and then I'm sitting there thinking, okay, he's 99 pounds. I told him, all right, you're probably not gonna lift me up. He's like, no, I can do it. I can lift you up. I'm like, no, I can lift you up. No. And then He gets behind me, up, down, with ease.
Yeah, he's a crazy strong kid too. Because that's why, like, when I wrestle him, it's more of like a strategic game more than it is physical. Like, a lot of wrestling isn't just going out there and wrestling. It's also like, you know, it's like a chess match. You know, you gotta set up what you're gonna do before you're gonna do it. You know, like you have a game plan and blueprint, and you just set it out. So for me, for wrestling there, my coach was telling me, like, if you watch like the live stream, like you see him like talking to me before my match. He was telling me basically what he was telling me in like Eastern States, like the way that he wanted me to wrestle. And he told me, he goes, I want you to wrestle like the way they did at Eastern States, because I don't want you like, you know, like collar tying with him, or like, I don't want you doing anything, just wrestle your game. Because like for me, strong kids and longer kids are like my thing. So it's like, for some reason I've always been wrestling them, so it's kind of like it's the only people I really know how to wrestle, you know, like longer kids, bigger kids. And he's always been like built more than me, you know, like when you see Jacob and you see me, you see Jacob more as like a lean kid, you know,
lean, jack, like
yeah, like you see him like rarely like leaned out. So me wrestling him, I was just gonna play like the distance game, you know, not gonna do anything too much. Obviously my game plan changes up between like the years, but from there it was like not gonna, you know, I'm gonna, you know, shoot from distance. I shot from distance, I scored, and then I lifted him, and then put him to his back. That lift,
that sealed the deal.
That was
because you got those back points. Right?
Yeah, I got backs and I stuck them.
Those backs sealed the deal.
Yeah, because
could not give you backs
at all. That would have been awful.
Yeah, back points sealed the deal. Back points, man, they're very crucial, especially in college. They're crucial.
Yeah, it's definitely something worth like taking into consideration, because the thing is too is that lift is something I've actually done before, but it's something I keep in the back pocket. You know, it's not something I go for every single time. But when I saw it there, I was like, yo, I'm going for it, and it ended up working out for me. So I was very happy about that lift. That lift was beautiful too. It was crazy. I was happy about that lift.
Yeah, and I love the camera. Like, I don't know if you went back and watched the live stream, but the camera angle, they have the perfect camera angle.
Yeah, I saw the live stream. I always end up watching like the live stream after each Mayor's Cup, just to see like what Penn and them were talking about. So
yeah.
Funny thing is, for my freshman year, I told him something at the beginning of the tournament once. I was talking to him about it, and I didn't even like tell him to say it. It was just something that I mentioned, right? It was like we were talking, and he's like, "Are you gonna win this tournament?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna win this tournament." And I was like, "Are you gonna watch it?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm actually gonna like record the finals." And I was like, "Cool." I go, "If when I win the finals, I'm gonna be the youngest Adams to win the finals." And I was like, "You better say it." And he goes, "Oh, I would say it." And I was like, "Okay." And it brushed my mind, and I totally forgot about it. Like, I didn't mention it throughout the day, anything like that. It's not like I was picking at him. So then later on, like the next day, I watched like the live stream, and he ends up actually saying that, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool that he remembered it. Like, that's pretty sick."
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah, I was like, that's amazing. I was like, for him to remember that was, you know, pretty sick, and you know, also for Daniel, Daniel to win the next year with me, that was sick. I was happy about that as well, because
that might have been the first time two brothers won it, the Mayor's Cup.
The same year?
Yeah, I think. I could be wrong.
Yeah, because I won it with Terry that year as well, my freshman year.
Right, besides you guys.
Yeah.
I think you guys are the only ones that did it.
Yeah, I would think so, because I don't really know any like other brothers. But I would say that we're the first trio to win, as in like all together. Because what I was happy about was I won it with Terry, and then I won it with Dan, so I won it with both of them. So I think that was cool, you know, so I couldn't do it in the same year, but I was happy I was able to do it with both of them. You know, like it's like it was a great experience. I always loved the Mayor's Cup tournament too. It was a fun experience. I got to eat pizza afterwards too.
It's a great atmosphere and all that, you know. Getting to watch some really cool matches like Bogey. I remember at my senior year, I had placed at it. I'm watching the finals, and Bogey had a real good match with Abimael, however you say his name.
Yeah, Grand Street. Yeah, I remember that. That was good. I actually remember watching that match too. That was awesome. A lot of good matches that year.
Really cool, yeah.
Oh, Mayor's Cup is a great tournament.
Definitely. I never ever saw a Farrell guy though. Oh no! Wait. It just came to my mind. So I wrestled Petruzzi at Mayor's.
Where? How did that go?
Yeah, he beat the nonsense out of me, man. Because what happened was, like, I saw that he was next. You know, like, we're friends and all that. So I saw him, like, in the hallway somewhere. I'm like, Mike, you got another match. It's you and me next. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. Because he was about to leave because he didn't do as well as he wanted. So he was getting ready to leave. But I told him, yo, you got another match, me and you. He's like, okay, cool. And that wasn't my last match of the day, I don't think. But me and him were... No, matter of fact, that was my last match of the day. Yeah. So me and him, we wrestled and stuff. And once he got on top, that was it.
Yeah, Petruzzi is good.
Yeah.
He ended up quitting recently, but he ended up coming back to practice. He ended up quitting, I think, a couple of years ago. Yeah, and then he came back to practice recently. I guess to come back, wrestle a little bit. It's nice to always come back and wrestle. So I was wrestling with him, and it's like he didn't miss a step. Like wrestling with. Yeah, like him wrestling with him now, obviously, like you can see like the rust, but with like each day that we wrestled, because I wrestled him like twice, like the rust wore off, like easy wore off, and I was like, this is awesome. Like it's happy to have him back a little bit.
So where you guys like wrestling at right now? You at Farrell?
We were. We also since we're not allowed to like wrestle in the school, we wrestle outside the school, so we kind of found like a little loophole within the school.
So you set like a mat up?
Yeah, we set a mat up outside and just wrestle a little bit. So that's good.
Would they let anybody go over there? Because I know Pete Ham, and he knows my high school coach. So.
I don't know if we have people over. That's just something you're gonna have to talk to him about. I'm not gonna say anything and then be false.
Exactly, yeah.
So I don't really know too much about that. I just know that we set mats up outside and just have a blast.
But yeah, seems like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always fun. Wrestling is always something I will always love to do.
Yeah.
No matter how old I am, I'll be like 96 wrestling.
Don't pull a Ric Flair now.
Well, Ric Flair is also, making millions, so if I pull a Ric Flair, I'll be happy in my life.
Well, I don't know about that. He's also in a lot of it.
Yeah. Ric Flair, though, is built different, too.
Well, what about Undertaker? Don't pull an Undertaker.
Oh, Undertaker, man. Undertaker is old, man. I don't know why he's still doing shit. Like, that's...
He's done now. He's finally done.
Yeah, he has to be done now. He has to be. If he does anything more, he's gonna pull a hip. He's gotta be done, man.
He already had hip surgery.
Yeah, let's not get another one. Just call it quits. Gotta know your limits.
He came to New York City to get hip surgery, and I'm like seeing like where he went and all that. I'm like, wow, how come I missed this?
It's so crazy too how like often like people run into like famous like celebrities. Because one of my friends ended up running into Pete Davidson at the mall or something like that. Like it's not like a real celebrity, but Pete Davidson is still Pete Davidson. So he's one of the funnier guys that I know. But
he loves talking bad about that now.
Yeah, I know that, but it's to be fair, Staten Island really has its ups and downs, but like running into him, that was kind of cool. I know some people. One of my friends ended up running into Rocky, Sylvester Stallone. That was awesome. Wow. I was like, yo, how do you end up going into Rocky, bro? Like, what? I was like, you didn't call me? I was like, dude, that's so messed up. But I was like, that's cool. I was like, I'm happy for you.
Next time I'm in Brooklyn, I want to run into Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson's an animal. Mike Tyson's a different monster.
Crazy.
I was watching like his fights and stuff, man. Short, stocky, just kills you. Sheesh. Like the people that he lost to too were like not normal people. Like they were like superhumans. So like I'm not even upset about his losses.
Yeah, exactly.
Like his losses, like it was against some like big dude who like cut massive weight. Like he looked way above like the weight limit, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like that's obvious.
Yeah. And he fought Butterbean too.
Yeah. Like
Butterbean gave him a hard time apparently.
Yeah. It's crazy. My dad also loves Mike Tyson.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because my dad used to box. Like, yeah, my dad was a big boxing guy. He used to box growing up, and he also boxed in the military. Yeah, so I think he said he got like third out of like his rank or something like that. Something like, yeah, he was nice with it. My dad's always good with that. So, yeah, it's also good to have like that type of coach too. You know, it's always like if I need help with fighting and stuff like that, that's the number one guy to go to, man. He taught me pretty much everything I need to know about like self-defense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
My dad's built different too.
Yeah, he is.
My dad would say some weird things too, like at dinner and stuff. Like we'll just be eating, having a good time, and like I start talking smack, and he would just flip his fork around and be like, he would be like, he goes, I could kill you with the back knife of my fork. I was like, what? I was like, dude, let's just eat. I was like, I'm sorry, man. I was like, I don't know how you're gonna do it, but I don't want to. I was like, you do you. I was like, you do you, man. I'm not gonna bother with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He told me a story of when he was a corrections officer, and then one of the criminals kept trying to like act tough with him and stuff, and then he like showed me a move. He demonstrated on me like what he did to the guy.
Yeah, my dad's just crazy too. Because also one of the things that my dad told me was like pressure points. So like when I wrestle sometimes, I'm not gonna say all the time, but when I wrestle sometimes, you know, I hit some kids with pressure points. You know, like if you ain't moving on bottom, you know, best believe I'm hitting you in like your leg and you're moving. Like I'll make you move. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it is really cool.
My dad.
Sometimes I'll grab somebody's like collarbone and try to like rip it out.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta do things yourself. You gotta take it into your own hands.
Exactly, yeah. And so I guess we'll end off with this right here. So I noticed, you know, you guys were like the first brothers I saw in New York City, like really getting ready to do big stuff. And, you know, they got Jacob now and Tristan's coming up too. But as far as Farrell goes, look, Tristan's a part of Farrell now, but maybe he might go to Todd Village, brother. Maybe not. Who knows? But there's Lorenzo and Mikey. I remember meeting them once at Poly, and I've seen them wrestle a little bit, but like they're kind of like you guys in a way, you know. And what Mikey did at Statesman, wrestling with a torn ham, like you were there, so wrestling with a torn hamstring.
Yeah. The Lamentinos are a great like asset for Farrell. Like that. They're really good for us. Like the brothers, they've been competing. I've known them for years. Like, and to have them come into Farrell is a great step up, especially for like our income freshman group. To have, you know, Lorenzo as like one of the bases for the freshman group is good. Like that's not even like that's a good start. You know, like. To have him there, and especially to have Mike's going to be an animal. Mike's already an animal. Now we just have him at 99 or even like maybe at a bigger weight. If he gets a growth spurt, that kid's going to kill it. I have nothing but success for Mike's future.
He has grit. That's what he has. You know?
Yeah, he has, and it's amazing to see. Especially for me, like I saw him like when he was younger, where he was like starting to grow, and now he's still growing, but doing damage as he's growing. So if he keeps growing and doing more damage, it's gonna be amazing to see what he can do when he gets into high school. Because I'm definitely gonna come back to see him for high school. Hopefully he's still hitting cradles.
Yeah, he called himself the Cradle Kid.
Yeah, hopefully he keep hitting cradles. Cradles is his thing. Hits me with it. Like when we go to practice, like we were doing like top and bottom, he just locks up cradles on me. I was like, I was like, is that the only thing you know? He goes, that's the only thing I need to know. I was like, okay. I mean, if it works, it works. That's it, you know.
No fix with it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like you only need to master one thing. You know, like that's it. A lot of kids got to the top just by knowing one move. So it's
Jordan Burroughs is who he is with a double.
Exactly. Like a lot of kids just only need one move and that's it.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy for the future of Monsignor Farrell. It's gonna be great. I don't see anything but success in Farrell's future. Even with some of the sophomores and freshmen that we have now, as seniors, as like the holding down the line, we have some great freshmen and sophomores. Like last year, we had some really good freshmen. We had like kids who ended up placing at Catholic states and Catholic cities, which is big. Like we even had kids who placed at Mayor's Cup and stuff. So having that is awesome, especially for our younger group.
Yeah, it shows that they're gonna grow.
Exactly.
And even some of the alumni, like Terry was ranked in the country for a while.
Yeah.
At D3, but unfortunately the national qualifier didn't go exactly how he wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he's definitely gonna kill it this time around. I see the videos your sinus puts up. I see Terry in there doing work.
Yeah, he always putting that work in.
Yeah, and then Ryan Siller, he's at Iowa.
Mm-hmm. He's
quite a big jump.
Yeah, it's a big jump. And that's what I'm happy about too, because we range from anywhere. Like it's great to see, because one of our freshmen too, like we even get kids from like different backgrounds. Like one of our kids, I think he said he did judo. That's a great background to start to go into wrestling, and he killed it. Like his at SI Duels, Sereno, like I think it's Steven Sereno from Patrites.
Yep, yeah.
He ended up going into that match and beating him. Like he ended up beating him. I think he ended up pinning him. So I was hype about that, because I was like, I know Serena for a long time.
A couple times, yeah.
Yeah, I know Serena for like a long time, and one of my freshmen just like pinned him, and I was hype. I was like so happy. So seeing that is, especially for like a future for one of our kids. And one of the other freshmen, like last year, he's a sophomore now. We had a dual meet against a Jersey team, Walchung Hills, right? He was losing, I think, 2-0 or 4-0 going into like the second or third. The kid was gassed, but like the Watchung Hills kid was like slightly better, just slightly. But our kid locked up a cradle on him, and his grip strength is one of the craziest things I've seen. Like he's like Daniel, how like you don't know like his strength before like you actually see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like once he got that cradle in, he stuck him and ended up winning the match.
Wow.
Like that's insane. Like to have kids, just come out and start pinning kids that, two other people that they're not supposed to beat. That's amazing. Because to me, I always expect my teammates to win. But, for other people, they're like, oh, you're not supposed to win. And then they come out and just pin those kids. That's big. Yeah. And to have that going forward is amazing.
Yeah. And that speaks well on Farrell's program.
Exactly.
Over the years.
We're very good at home growing our kids. Like we don't really recruit. Like we build them up from the kids club, or we build them up in high school. Like Joya was a kid from the high school program who, did well his freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah.
So it's like we homegrown our kids to like exactly. So it's amazing to see.
Yeah. I remember Frank when he beat Ryan Gaynor in the Mayor's Cup finals.
Yeah, that was good too. That was amazing, because Frank was the 10 seed, 10, and he ended up beating the 1 seed, which is Gaynor. Everybody thought Gaynor was gonna win too, but then Frank had more in the tank than he did. Like Frank didn't stop wrestling through that entire match.
Yep, that's right.
And to be fair, it's also like how it's like iron sharpens iron, as in like his teammates help him with that too. It's a team sport and individual. You can't get better if your teammates are getting worse. That's one of the great things about wrestling. It's an individual team sport, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Definitely. Yeah, we're all happy to be a part of the sport. And like I said before, the alumni and Farrell, right now all I can see is Ryan and Terry, but if anybody else decides to continue on at the collegiate level, I see some success there. What I want is, D3 NCAA finals, me and Terry.
Definitely.
Terry and Brandon. Yeah, but Terry and Brandon, 2 New York City people made the finals at the New York State tournament. That's the first time that ever happened. Mm-hmm. 2 New York City people made the finals of the Eastern States. First time that ever happened. Imagine if 2 New York City people are at the finals of an NCAA tournament.
Exactly.
That'd be
amazing.
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
Yeah, it's also crazy with that too, because recently they ended up making Catholic a division, like Catholic and PSAL. Like they ended up making us a section within the New York State, so that was kind of cool. Because before, what ended up happening is they would have two medals, as in like Federation medal and like actual state medal.
Yeah, and they made Brandon like get off the damn podium when he freaking beat everybody. Yeah,
I remember that. Because what ended up happening was between the years, New York State, Catholic school and PSEO weren't considered a section. We were considered invited guests. So if we won, we would get like a different medal than what everybody else would actually get. Yeah. So if you won, they would step you down and have the kids who actually placed step up. So for Brandon, him and Terry had to step down, and the kid who got third got first, and the kid who got fourth got second, and then so on and so on. Which is stupid, because I think what ended up happening was because Brandon didn't get the bracket too. What ended up happening is the kid, I think, gave him the bracket, or like Brandon pressed the kid like, "Yo, give me my bracket," something like that. Where like he got his, where he's like, where he like got. I
gotta ask him about that
because I know he ended up getting the bracket to where I think it was the kid gave it to him, but getting the bracket because Terry, he didn't get the bracket like right away, because what ended up happening was something with the kid where like I think it was his dad didn't want to give Terry the bracket.
I would have.
Yeah, but I'm happy they switched that up now. It really is. So I can't be too upset about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, now you guys, you earned it then, but like now you're really getting recognized. It's really good.
Yeah, it's very good. So it's amazing to see, you know, even the state grow, not even within the city, you know.
Yeah.
So just to see everything grow together is just, I'm happy to be a part of it, like to be alive at this time. Like it's great. Yeah. It's great.
Definitely. We're all a part of it. The alumni, the middle school wrestlers, the high school wrestlers, you know, we're growing the city.
Yep, and that's what we came here to do. You know, it's a big part of wrestling is, you know, not only grow yourself but grow everything around you.
Definitely. Oh, wish you luck to this season. You know, whatever kind of season you guys get. And, yeah, I mean, we're all doing stuff. You know, like us college guys, those of us, you know, we're getting ready to move on to the next year. So let's hope that everything runs smoothly.
Yeah, hopefully, because I hope this COVID thing don't go any longer, man.
Yeah, exactly. I got vaccinated, so
me too.
When I get down to the city, I'll be able to. Oh, you did too?
Yeah, I ended up getting the Pfizer one recently.
Same thing here. Yeah, I got the first one.
Yeah.
So I'll get the next one.
Yeah, I got the first.
And then by the time I get back, by the time I get back home, I'll be able to roam freely.
Yeah, because what ended up happening with me is I wanted to get it, but I didn't know like when I was gonna get it. But for some, like, I ended up getting like connection to like the shot, like the vaccine, and I ended up getting it after the state tournament. Yeah, so like that Thursday after the state tournament, I ended up getting it. Like I took the COVID test, make sure I was negative before I went to take the vaccine, and then once the test came back negative, I got the shot. Yeah. It wasn't bad. Everybody was like hyping it up or like saying it was bad. It wasn't really bad.
How'd you feel afterwards?
I felt fine afterwards. The only thing I had was just like a slight headache. The only thing that really affected me was like the headache, because I always had like chronic headaches, like growing up, like always just had headaches when I was younger. So it never really affected me as much. But the only thing is just I have a headache, but it's not something I don't know what to deal with, so it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like for me, I was just feeling real lethargic. I had a headache too, but I was just feeling lethargic. Like I didn't want to move.
Yeah. So I was happy. I was happy about it. I'm just happy that once this is over, like I get the second one in like another couple of weeks. And
same here.
Yeah, it's like April 24th, something like that, or April 27th, something before May. So I'm just I get it before my first tournament, so I could just run freely there. So that'd be nice.
Definitely, yeah. Should be able to do enough to try to get back to normal.
Yep. That's the goal, is to return to normalcy. That's the goal.
Definitely. Normalcy. Yep. All right, so like I said, wish you the best of luck during this season that we're gonna have, however much mat time you get to have.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, and this is very fun, so I appreciate it.
Real fun, yeah. Thanks. I appreciate you staying up.